Rick is coming on Saturday and Sunday.
Who?
Rick, that met her, she was like writing
the Wandering Dhamma.
Wandering Dhamma.
The woman.
No, she's coming only on Sunday.
Yeah. With her husband.
Kun Yin this morning said she was coming Saturday and Sunday. She's going to be here.
She told me. She said she comes Sunday morning. But you're not there. You're not here.
Huh?
You're not here.
I'm wondering if I can stay till Sunday.
Huh?
I was wondering if I can stay till Sunday.
Yeah, no problem.
Alright.
You come here. Each one of us, because of different reasons. Each one of us is guided here in one way or the other. When you come to a place like this, a forest monastery, or the forest monastery of Tanacha Mahabor, to find Dhamma. What is Dhamma? Dhamma is the teaching of the Lord Buddha. And what did the Lord Buddha taught us? He taught us the Four Noble Truths. The first of the Noble Truths is that there is dukkha. What does it mean, dukkha? Dukkha means dissatisfactoriness, dis-ease, restlessness, pain, suffering. That's all dukkha. Discomfort, that is dukkha. And when we look at our life, we will see we have a lot of dukkha. Every day. We do things out of dukkha. The moment we feel discomfort, we do something. There can be either thinking, or it can be talking, or it can be a bodily action. When we feel hungry, that is also a dissatisfactory feeling, we eat something. When we feel thirsty, we drink something. When we feel lonely, we talk to somebody. And so on, and so on. Out of dissatisfaction, we do things. If we would completely be satisfied, there wouldn't be anything necessary to do for us. So that is the first noble truth, the truth of dukkha. Every being in every realm, and there are 36 realms of existence, has more or less dukkha. The lower the realms, the more dukkha we have. The higher the realms, the less dukkha. Here in the human life, we can have 50% of sukha and 50% of dukkha. That's the utmost that we can achieve. And then we have to live the perfect human life, to achieve this. Normally, we have just 5% or 1% of sukha and 99% of dukkha. If something nice happens to us during the day, that made our day. That made our whole day. We can remember it for the rest of our day. So strong is the influence of sukha. Sukha is just the opposite of dukkha. Everything that is pleasant, everything that is nice, everything that we feel elated, and so on. Happy feeling, joyful feeling, peaceful feeling. And because of this little sukha that we have in this human life, we bear on. We carry on, we do this and we do that, because we think whatever we do, and all our thinking of what we want to do in the future is because we want to have more sukha. We want to have more pleasant things. We want to achieve this because we think we can achieve sukha with it. We want to do this, just going to a roller coaster ride, we want to it because we want to have fun. That's also some sort of sukha. We go to the movies because we want to. We don't know. Do we actually know why we're doing things? No. It is somebody else is running our life. We don't know who is running our life, but we just seem to do things. We get up in the morning, we go to work, and we come home, and we have something to eat, and sit in front of the TV, or read a newspaper, or magazine, or some people, a few people read a good book, and then they go to sleep. And the next day they wake up and do the same thing. We are on automatic control. Or in other words, an autopilot. Somebody pilots us through our life. And only once in a while we wake up and say, hey, what is going on? And then we go to sleep again. We fall asleep until the next time we wake up. And say, hey, what's going on? Something strange going on in my life. And then we fall asleep again. We work for 4 weeks, for 4 months, for 4 years. At the end of our life, we get retired and we don't know what to do with life. Because we are not able to live in freedom. When we choose our life, we have to choose it because of what other people think, what society thinks of us. That's our life. Society, decides how we have to live, what we have to think, what we have to do. The companies, our government, or whatever. Or is it just the family? Or is it just our friends who tell us you have to be like this, you have to be like that, you have to behave like this, you have to behave like that. So I ask you now for yourself. Who's in control of your life? I can give you the answer. What is in control of your life, or what is this autopilot? It's karma. That's what it's called. Karma. Whatever we do will have an effect. Whatever we put into motion will come back to us. Just like a boomerang. If we do good, good will come back to us. If we do bad, bad will come back to us. And there's no way that we can evade it. There's no way that we can negotiate it. Doing good will reap good karma. Doing bad will reap bad karma. That's it. That's the law of the universe. In each country that we live, we have state laws or national laws. We know. If we go against them, and if we are caught, we go. into prison. But of the law of karma, we don't believe it because we don't see it and nobody enacts it. Reinforces it. That's nice, so it doesn't work for me. So why are you in the shit that you are right now? Because of your own karma. Why do the things happen that happen to you right now? Every moment, every day, every year. Because of your karma. Because of your old karma. So if you want to change, if you want to switch from autopilot, to being aware, to being mindful of what is going on, then you have to do something. Then you have to wake up. You really do have to wake up. You have to be mindfully switching this autopilot off and decide for every moment in your life. Am I going to do this? Why am I going to do this? What kind of results will my action have? That is switching the autopilot off. But that, of course, is difficult. We like to day trip. That is so fantastic. We just dream, we just sit in our chair and dream all day long. We might even dream that we become a millionaire when we work hard enough. We will dream that to the end of our life and nothing happens. The millions don't come in. But our dream was nice. And that's the same thing what happens during every moment of our life. We daydream. We are not aware of what is going on. We are not aware of what we get into contact. We think we know what we are getting in contact with. We think we know we see a house. We think we know we see a person. We think we know we see a female or a male. But is that really happening? What do we actually see? The only thing that we see are our reactions to what we see. The reactions are, I want this and I don't want this. I like this and I don't like this. I like the words that he said or I don't like the words that he said. That's the only thing that we notice. And because of this we react on it. If he says something, that we don't like, we hit his face. Or we throw it immediately back at him. And that, exactly that likes and dislikes, the desire to be or the desire not to be, that is the second noble truth. That is what the Lord Buddha taught us. The desire creates dukkha. That is the source for our dukkha. If there is no desire anymore, if there is no will anymore, there is no dukkha. The moment we try to change the world, there is dukkha. The moment we try to change other people, there is dukkha. The moment we try to change ourselves, there is also dukkha. And the dukkha is the dukkha to face up to what is actually happening. Because we are still attached. We are still attached to our body. We are still attached to memory. We are still attached to our feelings. We are still attached to thoughts. We are attached to them. We want them to be there. We want them to be our companions. We don't want to miss them. And that, of course, creates all dukkha. If nice thoughts are coming, that's fine. We enjoy it. But if these nice thoughts are replaced by unhappy thoughts, then we don't enjoy. So attachment to nice or attachment to not nice, that is creating dukkha. The attachment, the desire to things, that is what is the thing that creates dukkha. And what else did the Lord Buddha taught us? He taught us that there is an end of all this dukkha. There's a final end where there is no more, where there is a reality where there is no more dukkha. That's all. And then, at last, he taught us the truth. The fourth noble truth, the truth that leads to the end of all dukkha. What leads to the end of all dukkha is the eightfold path, or the path comprised of the three columns of Sila, Samadhi and Panya. Sila are the 5 precepts. Samadhi is the ability to concentrate on one point and is also developing awareness, sati. And Panya is investigation of what is actually going on. What is going on? I mean, as long as we have the autopilot on, we don't even know what is going on. We just function. Just like a robot, who has a program in it. And that's actually what we are. We are programmed from the moment we are born to the moment we are dying. Even the length of our stay here in the human world is programmed the moment we start. And there's nothing that we can do to prolong it. There's only things that we can do to shorten. Everything. And what is the program? The program is nothing else than karma. In other words, like we have in our culture, we have the saying, don't do unto others what you don't want others to do unto you. That's karma. Maybe we can relate better to this. So all the things that come back to us, and we don't like, we have done unto others. Simple as that. Extremely simple. In this we have to understand. First of all, we have to accept. We do have to accept that there is evil in our heart and there is goodness in our heart. Every one of us wants to be a good person, don't we? But we do realize that there is an evil. So the first thing is we have to look at this evil. That is right there in our heart, that comes there through our thoughts, through our speech and through our actions. Some of the evil is just, when we get an unpleasant remark, we fight back with words or with speech. That's the evil that comes. Let the people say what they say. It's their opinion. You can't change your opinion of others. All what you can do is change yourself. So what is Sila? The 5 precepts. The 5 precepts, I train myself not to harm any living being. It's the first one. I will not take what is not given to me. It's the second one. I will not lie or use hard speech, or speech that hurts. That's the third one. Not indulge into sexual misconduct. It's the fourth one. What does it mean, sexual misconduct? Using somebody else for one's own sexual pleasure. Because of one's position, because of one's money, and so on. That's sexual misconduct. Or sex with animals. If it's agreed in a partnership or in a marriage, that is fine. But that means one wife and one man. Not 1 man, 2 wives, or 1 wife, 2 men, or 3 men, or 10 men, or I don't know. Partnership is 1 man, 1 wife. That's it. As long as we stay in that framework, we don't indulge into sexual misconduct. That is perfectly fine. And the fifth one is no alcohol, no drugs. Everything that increases the autopilot function. Everything that makes us unmindful, that makes us unaware of what we are doing and why we are doing. Samadhi is the ability to concentrate. To concentrate on just one point. And here in this forest monastery there are two methods how to concentrate on one point and how to get into Samadhi. The first way is the mental repetition of the word Buddha, 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 Buddha. The second one is the Satipatthana, Anapanasati, is being mindful of breathing in and breathing out at the tip of the nose and nowhere else. Just at the tip of the nose. Because there the feeling for the breath coming in and coming out is the strongest. We do not watch when we do breath meditation, we do not watch the abdomen or we do not watch the body. We just watch, observe the one point at the tip of the nose. We want to get one point. And that's why we have one point. And that's the whole thing. If we are able to concentrate on this one point, it will lead us to our true nature. It will lead us to the Chitta. When we do the Buddha meditation, and after a while, the Buddha is automatically installed in our memory, and it repeats itself, then we observe the quality. We observe the quality of the Buddha. Is the Buddha fast? Is the Buddha slow? Is the Buddha deep? Or is the Buddha shallow? We completely are interested in every Buddha that we do. Only in the Buddha. Or we are interested only in the breath. Now this is the in-breath, now this is the out-breath. We are not interested in anything else. I mean, if a thought comes in and we replace that thought by our mindfulness of breathing in and breathing out. Or we replace that thought by Buddha. Buddha is a thought, so that's why it's easier for people who think a lot. People who are more calm, they can go to Anapanasati. And there, in observing the breath coming in and coming out, we want to know, and that is faithful, we want to know the quality of the breath. We want to know if it's in-breath. We want to know if it's out-breath. We want to know if the in-breath is deep or shallow, long or short. If the breath is coarse or if the breath is fine. It really doesn't matter what it is or how it is. It just matters that we know. Because both of these methods, the Buddha, knowing about the Buddha or knowing about the breath, leads us to the knowingness of the Chitta. And that is the only thing that we can say about our Chitta. It's knowingness. It's not assumptions. It's not thinking. It's just pure knowingness. So when the thoughts stop, during our practice of meditation, when the thoughts are stopped, for the first time, we transcend our normal world of thinking. Our normal world of thinking is transcended and we enter the world of experience, where there are no thoughts, where there are no memories, where just things are as they are. We see, we experience, but we feel safe. And because there are no thoughts, there is no worry, there is no fear, there is no doubt. And for some people it's just happiness, or it can be pity, or it can be peaceful, or it can be just calm. It depends on the characteristic of that person. So that is for us the first safe haven. It's a safe haven that is called normally Upachara Samadhi or Exo Samadhi. And once we enjoyed that for a while, we still continue to do our Buddha, or we still continue to do our breath. Because we want that the focusing or the concentration on that one point will lead us to the knowing. And sooner or later the breath becomes so fine that it stops. It seems to stop. And at that moment our concentration is nearly up so that it can enter into the state of called Appana Samadhi. One-pointedness, where everything, and we know this universe that we experience day in, day out, is not one-pointed. I mean, wherever we look, we see us and we see something else. And that will collapse. That will collapse into one point. And that is the whole point of the practice. We want to get into one point. We want to get into Appana Samadhi where everything disappears. The first thing that disappears is our body. The next thing that disappears are the senses. And then the third thing that disappears is this whole universe. Of course, with our senses, with our consciousness, the whole universe will disappear. And all what is left is knowingness. Clear, crisp knowingness. Not knowing of an object, just knowing. I mean, the whole universe has collapsed. Time has collapsed. Time is just not there anymore. And all what we know is when we come out, we want to get back into it. It's such peaceful. It's such refreshing. It's such a state, amazing state of mind, that we don't even know. And that we think we are not capable of. But we are. Because all what we have to do is not to let go of our meditation object. That's all what we need to do. And then we get there. But can we do that? Most of us have extreme difficulties just to get into Upachara Samadhi. Just to let go of their thoughts. Because we think, or somebody tells us, our inner voice tells us, if you stop thinking, the world collapses. It doesn't. What did Descartes say? Cogito ergo sum. I think that's why I am. So when we stop thinking, we are not anymore. Right? But, another reality opens up to us. It's a reality of experience. All what we do is experience. We do not think about our experience. We do not assume about our experience. We just experience very objectively. That's all. And if we go down in Appana Samadhi, what we experience is what is called a privy of Nibbana. That's why it's called one of the first wonders of meditation. And there's nothing that, that hinders us from doing it except for the kilesas. They don't want to. Or they're afraid of it. Or they have their reasons. Or it's too painful. Or it's too hot now. Now it's too hot, I can't meditate. Or I'm too tired. Or I'm too hungry. Or things like that. That's why we stop meditating. That's why we stop putting effort. And that's why we never get in this state. Because we stop, sooner or later we stop. Now it's enough, I'm tired, let me go and have a sleep, yeah? That's why we stop. And who's telling us this? Who's telling us all this crap? I don't like this, I like this. So that's what is the Samadhi leading us to. When we go to Appana Samadhi, it shows us the preview of Nibbana. Because in that state, all the 5 khandhas are not there. The 5 khandhas that makes us. The 5 khandhas are the group of the body, the group of feeling, the group of memory and association, the group of thoughts, and the group of consciousness. They all cease to exist at that very moment. And all what is left is crisp, clear knowing. So it's up to you. If you put your effort into it, if you have enough determination not to be fooled by the kilesa, then you can do it. All what you need, it's the simplest task in this world. Just put your attention onto one thing. And you're gone. 1, 2, 3, and you're gone. Look at our work that we do. Just our household, just like the household work, or even going shopping. It's so complicated. Going shopping. Or doing our housework. We have so many stuff in our house. Huh? It's so complicated. Just think about 2,000 years ago, housework was, was nothing. And some of it you can experience when you're living here. What is the housework? You take a broom and sweep through your kutti, because you don't have many things. Or what you do, you have to wash one piece of cloth that you wear. That's it. You don't need this kind of clothing or that kind of clothing. You just have one piece of cloth. That's it. So housework is kept to an absolutely minimum. Feeding is also kept to an absolutely minimum. And you have the most time. You have the utmost time, to do the practice. The practice to get in a state of happiness. And that is all up to you. I can't influence it. I can only encourage you to go there and see for yourself. Especially if you don't believe me, just go and see for yourself if it's the way that I describe. And you will find out it is. It cannot be otherwise. The mind is concentrated and thoughts stop, we experience. And happy feelings or pleasant feelings come up. That's the way of the chitta. That's the way of the mind. It's all there. Whatever we look for in this world is just there in this very little, chitta. In our heart. That's where it is. Everything. Everything springs from the heart. Everything comes back to the heart. So when we look at the heart at the first place, we find everything what we're looking for. If we are lonely, we find unification in the heart. Where does it come from? Why are we lonely? Because we feel separated. What are we separated from? We are separate from our true nature. And as long as we don't get unified, and the only way of unification is getting into Appana Samadhi, into the state of Samadhi. We are unified again. In the moment we come out, we are dissatisfied. We are separated from ourselves. We are not separated from this person or that person. We are separated from our own true nature. And that makes all this dukkha in this world. Feeling separation. And that's why we have to behave like our friends, or we have to behave like the family, or we have to behave like the group that we associate with, or we have to behave like our own nation. People coming from our own nation. I'm Australian, I'm Canadian, I'm German, I'm South Africa. That's what we identify with. Because we have lost our true identification. We have lost our true nature. And where is our true nature? Not there, not in India, not in South Africa, not in South America. I mean, it's just right where we are. Just right in the center of ourselves, of this body. And that is called the chitta. We have lost the key. We have lost the key to unlock our heart. And that's what makes us all the trouble. And now the biggest trouble, even if somebody tells us that we have lost the key, I mean, to find the key and unlock the heart. I mean, that is even more difficult than to live in this world. I mean, everyone who has been here for a few days or for a few weeks knows how difficult it is to unlock our heart, to find our true heart. Because for so many millions and billions of lives we have run outside of our heart, not instead of running inside. So our normal way is when we start practicing is to go outward, not inward. We go out with thoughts, we go out when feelings come, we go out when the body comes, we go outside. And look at these things and question these things. Oh, they are so amazing, And of course, they are amazing. But we become bored, after a while when we look at these amazing things, When we start working, it's amazing, but 3 days or 10 days later, it's getting boring. For some people, maybe 3 or 4 years later. If they do that for 50 years, why do they do it? Why do we do that? Because everybody else, in our society just lives the same way. So we don't know otherwise. If the Lord Buddha didn't come and teach us, we wouldn't know. I mean, we wouldn't find anything else. Because there's nothing else if we don't know that there's a way out. If we constantly live in the prison, I mean, how do we know that there's an exit? If the Lord Buddha didn't come to this world 2,500 years ago, we wouldn't know that there's an exit. So we can be proud of ourselves, to know the Dhamma of the Lord Buddha. We can be proud, we can have the utmost respect for this teacher who showed us, hey, there's an exit. Hey, listen up, people. There's an exit. You can go out of the prison that you're living in. You can go back to your true nature. That's the fine message. That's the encouraging message. Hey, people, listen up. Open your heart. Open your mind. Let the truth come in. Let the truth seep in. And let me show you how to get out. But you have to do it. I mean, just to take my words, and study them, assume this and assume that doesn't lead you out. I mean, you have feet, so you have to walk that way out. And I can only show you the path that leads out. But you have to walk the path. Just by studying the path, just by understanding the path, that is not going to lead you out. I mean, just by knowing the path to Rome, that doesn't mean that you can go to Rome. You might need to, but when you get outside of your air conditioning, I mean, then it's very hot. Or then, otherwise, other times it will be very cold. And you want to go back to your room, isn't it? If your feet are freezing, or if you are perspiring too much, I mean, you want to have a shower, but there's no shower, because at the moment you just walk through the desert. Where's the shower? There's no even water. So he showed us the path that leads on. And the path leads, to nice states of experience, and it leads to very unpleasant states of experience. It leads through a meadow, it leads through the desert. And we don't know when the desert ends. We just know if you go and go and go and go and go. Sooner or later the desert will end, and something else will come. The meadow will come, we will have water, we can wash our face. And then we can walk on. Until we reach the final stage. Until we reach Nibbana. I mean, there is nothing that we can do. I mean, if we want to go to Nibbana, then we have to take step by step by step. I mean, we can't take, there's no airplane. There's no air-conditioned airplane, or there's no air-conditioned bus that leads to Nibbana. I mean, the Lord Buddha said, you have to stitch up your your boat to get across. It's true. It's your boat. And you have to row it. Sorry. I mean, that is something that we have to understand. I mean, nobody can take us there. I mean, if the Lord Buddha could take us there, he would have taken all the people, in his hometown or, in India. Whoever knew him, he would have taken across. But that is impossible. All what he can do is to show us. He says, if you go this path, for instance, if you go the path of Anapanasati, I mean, then you will experience Upachara Samadhi once thoughts are gone. And then if you go on, the breath will stop, and then you will reach into Apana Samadhi, one-pointedness. That's what he says, that's what he teaches. And that's what is true. If you go this path, you will find it. And then he says, if you do investigation, that is the third column of the path leading to the end of dukkha. If you do investigation, that means if you contemplate about what is the body, contemplate about what is feeling, contemplate about what is memory and association and thought. I mean, where do they come from? What do they make? I mean, they make us. Everything, that fits us, or what you think is me. I mean, it belongs to one of the 5 khandhas. Belongs to one of the 5 groups. There's nothing outside of these groups what you think it is you. Nothing. So, I mean, because that is the wrong view, and that leads us to dukkha, and that leads us from one life to the next life. I mean, that's why the Lord Buddha told us, investigate, contemplate this body. I mean, we see, this body is going to die, sooner or later. We see this body is full of loathsomeness. That's why we have skin. Because we don't want to see it. I mean, just imagine you have a skin of glass. You see the other person, you see everything underneath that skin. The skin protects us from the ugliness of this body. Now just imagine, seeing your neighbor without skin. I mean, what do you see? A bloody mess. A bloody mess of tissue or fat or whatever. I mean, that greasy yellow stuff, fat, that we build up when we eat too much. Too much sugar or too much other things. It hides beneath the skin. And then when we take the skin off, what is coming? The tissue. Bloody red tissue. And we go in, we dive in. What is coming there? I mean, there's our undigested food that still lies in the stomach. Oh, that smells. Smells just delicious. Mm-hmm. I mean, the moment we took it in our mouth, it was delicious. The moment it goes down our throat and comes in the stomach, I mean, does anyone of you want to eat it again? I mean, I invite you, to throw it up and eat it again. Just to see it's still valid food. I mean, that is all what the body needs. I mean, it's a machinery. It converts the food into energy. That's it. And to build the rest of the body, to build the cells and to replace the cells that are, just like a car. I mean, new oil, when you put new oil in the car, it looks clean. But, once it was running for a while, for a few months or for a few years, when you take it out, it's black. It's not golden anymore. Because of all the dirt, So whatever we put into this body, when it comes out, we don't like to see it. We flush it down the toilet, or we wash it off with water and soap and use some deodorant or something like that because we don't like the smell of it. It stinks. And we put clothes on, And the clothes we have to wash. Why? Because of the smell of this body. And the only thing that protects us from seeing it as it really is the skin. I mean, if it would be transparent, we would instantly see it. I mean, just think, just make this mental exercise. If you see a lovely woman or a handsome man, and you take off his skin, I mean, do you want to kiss it? Do you want to hug it? Do you want to hug that mess of blood? Just think about it. So we are fooled by the outside, we are fooled by the form, we are fooled by appearance. And we have made it to the utmost science, to fool ourselves. With all these fashions, with all these deodorants and perfumes and so on, with all the hairstyles, we are fooled. And we even fool ourselves even more. We go to the utmost profession. Utmost science, of advertising. If you don't wear this, you're not happy. And we believe it, don't we? We go for it. And that is investigation. Investigation of the body, that is the first topic. And for this week, or this month, or this year, or the next 10 years, it's contemplation of the body and the body and the body. Until we understand it. Once we understand it, we are at the level beyond greed and hate. Because only the body is the pot of the plant of greed and hate. Once we destroy the illusion about this body, I mean, greed and hate cannot grow anymore. That's the end. That's the end of our continuous rebirth and death. Once you really understand what this body is about, once you see it as a loathsome piece of shit, that you have to carry 50 kilograms every day, 50 to 100 kilograms. Some people, even more than 100 kilograms. From this point to that point, you carry it along. Wherever you go, you carry it, Isn't it sometimes heavy? I mean, just to get up, isn't it heavy? But you love it. You really love it. I mean, it's amazing how much you attach to it. I mean, the moment you look in the mirror and you see a scar, or some scar on the body, I mean, you run to the doctor. I mean, you run to the hospital or whatever. Because you love it so much. You're so attached to it. But once in a while you think, oh wow, it's so heavy, Carrying, wherever you go, wherever you are, I mean, you have this load of at least 50 kilograms of bones and flesh. Wonderful, we want it, Next time make it out of aluminium, And you don't have to carry around so much. Isn't it? That's not that good. It's probably more stable as well. I mean, it's pretty fragile, this body, isn't it? I mean, just throw yourself off into minus 40 degrees, and I mean, you just die right up. Everything freezes, you can't move anything. It freezes to death. I mean, if you put it above 50 degrees, it dies of heat. I mean, extremely fragile, but we still love it. And we just can't think of something else. The moment our body gets a little bit old, we bring up all the memories from our youth and use. Oh, that was nice, And more memories of our youth come up, and so our next life is already being programmed. We start out being a baby again. Wonderful. From a baby we grow to be an adult. From an adult we grow, and become sick once in a while, to become a grown-up. From a grown-up we become an elder. And then we die again. And then become a baby again. Go through this process. And it's not the first life that we are living. We have lived so many lives we can't even remember how many. 1 million, 1 billion. How many deaths have we experienced? 1 million or 1 billion? It's just, it's just so common. It's just so much. But each time we are going to die, we are afraid. If somebody holds a pistol at our head, we shake. We're afraid. Somebody holds a knife at our chest, we're afraid. We shake. Afraid of death. We're afraid to be a victim. We're afraid to be criticized. We're afraid not to be loved. Not to be cherished. We're afraid of so many things. And we are especially afraid when we start this practice, we're especially afraid to see the truth. The truth of it all. So, and that's a good point to stop. This is a